Next, we're going to talk about dating and basically don't fall in love with someone that can't love you back. And so, falling in love with something that just can't love you back can be very painful, and it's best to definitely avoid it. So, for example, so many people get a strong emotional attachment to things and objects, but these things will never love you back. So when you lose them, they only cause you pain, and the chaos of having an abundance of things only causes stressors. These objects take your mind away from the people and the moments that truly matter. Life is about being present and really enjoying the people in your life, and it's not about objects. Objects come and go, people have emotions that truly matter. And so in life, you can find yourself caring and loving for others more than they care and love for you. And um, how do you identify when you love someone more than they love you? It can be challenging to see if you love someone more than they love you, because love is complex and it's a very subjective topic that will depend on many factors. I'm a firm believer that you will realize what situation you are in most effectively, identifying accurately what is happening based on your subconscious understanding of everything going on. You subconsciously gain a lot of data points from all the different moments in your life, and you spend more time with this person than you think. People do not see you together all the time, and when you're both alone and in public, you just get a lot of time with the other person that others really don't get to observe. And so, in my opinion, you're the best person with the most data to really decide the extent of your situation. And you should really just follow your intuition. You will definitely take the action that is best for you. You may not understand why you feel a certain way. You may not really understand your feelings quite well, but that's okay. We do not always understand our complex emotions. Subconsciously, you will find the best outcome when you pick up on the tiny cues and data points and make the decision that is best for you. You should definitely, within this process, know who you are. When I love, I go all in and I love very deeply. In relationships, I fall quick and deeply into love. And I often care for others more than they usually care for me, in my opinion. I often do for others more than they do for me. I'm very independent, and I'm also very passionate, cuddly, intimate, and present within my relationships. So, the people in my life often get an endless amount of support. I'm very giving, and I try a lot about everything that I'm doing. If I'm helping you, I'm putting a lot of effort into helping you. And I just go all in to most things that I'm doing. So I definitely have endless advice and endless tips. And I definitely put a lot into understanding others, and I do love very endlessly and extensively, and I just do not get super cuddly with others except for my significant other. So, my significant other usually sees a side of me that others may not see, and by understanding how quick I am to fall and how deeply I fall, it's definitely helpful to understand like who you are and the intricacies of how you love, and also what your needs are and your wants in life. And so, how much I get emotionally connected to someone, I'm definitely more susceptible to being in this type of situation. I often put a lot of energy into my relationships. So, if I'm not getting the same energy back, it's definitely hurtful and difficult. You should also spend some time getting to know who they are. Is your significant other very loving, cuddly, physical, intimate, passionate, and romantic? Are they a giver who tells you how much they appreciate you and how they feel? Are they always doing things for you and allowing you to do things for them? If this is the type of person that they are, you're probably pretty good and good to go. But if you're dating someone who's very productive and distant and spacey, as though they don't really hear you and they don't spend time to understand you, or don't communicate much, or do not have, a lot of time spent for physical intimacy, or they don't hold your hands, or um, have intimate moments behind closed doors. You don't spend too much time together. They're always busy. Do not have a strong understanding of what their love is, or what love in general is. And, maybe they don't show you how they feel, or you're probably a little confused about your situation in general. That's usually not a good thing, and will definitely give you a hint that you might be somebody that's in this situation that I'm talking about. And it's a really tough situation, and it really can go multiple different ways based on your circumstances. So it'll be an interesting time assessing your situation for yourself and making the decision that's best for you. But I think the decision in the end is just most importantly about your happiness and what is best for you. Are you a giver and always giving, and the other person is always taking? In relationships, somebody that gives a lot needs to be with someone who's also giving and trying and doing. That way, it's a little bit balanced and equal. Without that balance, it's difficult to, not get overwhelmed. So, definitely find someone that can really balance you. Actions and body language speak louder than words. Emotions are very difficult to quantify, and you can also mislabel anger or sadness, frustration or boredom, happiness or discontent, and love or shyness. It's difficult to really measure these things and really identify them accurately sometimes. So when you're unsure, I definitely recommend confronting the situation head on. My favorite questions to ask definitely include, what do you look for in a significant other? What is love to you? How do you feel about me? These different questions can really help you have an open and honest conversation and really get to understand what the person really is thinking. I really don't enjoy reading between the lines all the time. I do feel like I can read situations well, but the reality is we shouldn't have to go into every situation guessing. Instead, it's just so much easier if you just ask up front, how are you feeling about this? And just let them respond. And, tell you how they feel about you. It's just way easier that way. So you could also ask more than once, because sometimes people don't know how they're feeling. You can definitely ask different ways. And you can also gauge, how do the answers change over time? Don't judge what they say, instead really hear them and use that as data to see whether their words align with their body language and also their actions and what they do. There's signs that you may be more invested in the relationship than your partner, and these different signs may include you do more and you care more. You're initiating plans to spend time together more. You are more responsive to calls and text messages. You show your affection and intimacy more. You prioritize and value the relationship more. You are more invested and emotional about situations, while the other person displays less or no emotions. Do they show negative body language and cross their arms, or don't really physically, touch or hold your hand? Are they frowning a lot? Are they angry a lot, negative, jealous, controlling, dishonest, or even distant? The person may even be embarrassed to be in public with you. The person is embarrassed to be with you around their friends. These are all different signs that you want to look out for. And they are a little subjective, where, it will kind of vary or depend on a lot of different factors, but you should really assess your situation based on, your own observations and your own circumstances and make the decision that you think is best. Definitely see how they play out in your life, all these different things. Determine whether you should keep working toward a long lasting relationship based on whether the other person is really trying and the extent in which they care. If they care to take actions that really foster a happy and loving relationship, then there's a really good chance that they're very worthy of your time and your love. If they're putting a lot of time and effort into the relationship, then they definitely do care, and you should definitely take that into consideration. People that are very appreciative are great to have around in your life. Careful not to end a relationship with people who are simply shy and not emotionally intelligent about relationships. Some people have really good intentions and they just don't communicate that well. And so you definitely want to understand their intentions and, take into consideration their personality. They may take life at their own pace, and you may simply have very different perspectives about life and love, and so it may just simply take a little bit of time to really get used to the other person's perspectives and the way that they are, because everybody is different. Do prioritize forming connections with people who reciprocate your feelings and really care and try and support you as you do the same for them. Unreciprocated love can be very emotionally draining, and so a relationship is really all about the push and pull, the give and the take, and really a feeling that you have throughout your relationship. When a person is putting too much into the relationship and really not seeing the same effort in return, you may definitely be someone like me who definitely goes all in and all out. And so it's hard for you to have someone that really reciprocates, and does all the things that you do, because you just do so much. If you're in this situation, then I think you have to just take things for a grain of salt, because you're just really, hardworking and intense, and no one's ever going to be able to do all of that for you. In reality, everybody loves a certain way, and you really need to take into consideration, like, your own standards can be for you, but you cannot put your standards 100% on the other person. They're gonna love in a certain way, and you need to be okay with that and really understand how they love. And if they do love you, then even if they don't love you in the way that you love them, it's perfectly fine because in the end, they still love you. And they're just loving you in their own way. And sometimes love takes time to really understand and build. And so for me, it's kind of more about understanding, like, are they trying? Do their actions really show that they care? And I think that's a really important part in you making your decision as to whether or not they are right for you or whether you should move on. It's definitely hard for other people to compete depending on what your standards are. If your standards are really high, it's going to be hard for others to compete with those really high standards. um, or you may not really be getting your needs fulfilled. Um, if someone does not really fulfill your needs or what you want, and they may not have as much love toward you than you think. So you really need to consider all of these different things and really understand what do you want and what do you need. Because if you don't understand what you want and what you need, then how can you expect someone else to, provide what you want or provide what you need? You have to actually voice these things to the other person. You can't just expect them to read your mind either. So I think everyone is capable of love. Everyone can put someone else first, and everyone can try. And when others don't try, and they don't tell you how you feel, and they don't show you how they care, you may definitely feel rejected or frustrated or sad, and I think these are the different things that you want to pay attention to. It can be very emotionally draining when you care so deeply and so much and it's just not reciprocated. Love does take time and energy to create an amazing relationship, and when you're not appreciated or your feelings are not reciprocated, you may become emotionally drained. From another point of view, if you are concerned about this all, then you may subconsciously be placing added pressure and stress on the other person that may push you even further apart. It's definitely a difficult situation. It may be emotionally draining for both of you, and others naturally want to be there for you, and they may not have the capacity to really do so in the way that you want them to be there for you. And so you may need to figure out whether this person strives to grow and foster a healthy relationship with you, or whether they just don't care enough, or they just don't try enough. Are they willing to put in a little bit of effort to grow? Where is their mindset on all of this? And I, for one, like to ask clear and upfront. You should definitely maintain realistic expectations and try to identify what situation you're in. You may need to ask the other person multiple questions to gain an understanding into who they are and how relationships with them tend to be. And so, how do they love? How do they show love? Be realistic about what kind of relationship you have, and is it mostly physical, emotional, or based on a title that you are together? Understand the pace of your relationship. Will it progress? Do they fear intimacy or commitment? Do they take things slow or do they take things fast? Try to maintain a realistic expectation for their relationship. If the other person never does all of these things that you want and need, then it may be time for both of you to grow these things within your relationship. It may take time for them to learn what you like and learn your love language and how you are and how you feel and understand who they are and definitely respond accordingly. Get to know them as well. If your standards are really high and your expectations are high, it may take time for you to really build the relationship in which your needs are fulfilled. And you may experience disappointment and frustration at times, but if the other person truly cares, then they will do their best to support you and foster happiness within the relationship. Loving what does not love you back definitely prevents you also from finding true love. So avoid focusing all of your love on others that are incapable of loving you back. You may waste time with someone who does not bring you happiness, fulfillment, or help you be your best self. If this is you, you may want to find love elsewhere. True love may be with someone else. Sometimes people do not enjoy being challenged, and if they care, they will do their best and they will try to support you. They hear your wants and your needs, and they will do their best, even if it's not to the level of action that you want. They will do their best. When others are doing their best and growing, I recommend being patient. When others fail to try or care, when you are upset, that is when you may assess the situation and take potential actions to maybe confront the situation head on. Whatever actions you deem best, you should definitely do them in moments like this. You should definitely seek others in your life who really give, care, and support you. Some people will do their best in the relationship and really balance you in ways that will really make you your best self or really support you throughout all of your adventures. Being very different from your significant other may yield early difficulties, but it may also be an amazing thing. In my opinion, you don't have to be the same as the other person. You can definitely differ. It really just depends on how you complement each other and balance each other out, and whether you really just get along and are really happy together. In a relationship, physical attraction and intimacy can definitely help you both communicate and really understand the other person, as well as foster a closer relationship. You can find yourself in an amazing relationship, but sometimes your differences may require a little extra work in the beginning, especially when you both speak a different love language and have different expectations within a relationship. When a relationship is just not working, it may be time to end it, but you will know this the best. Follow your intuition and seek true love elsewhere with someone who really puts you first and really enjoys time with you and really puts your wants and your needs first. Be who you are, give space when others need it, and importantly, be close and loving. If this is who you are, be who you are. So, in summary, it is definitely difficult to find someone that really compliments you, and so it's definitely very easy to see that love is complicated. And I think the overarching theme of this video is that you really have to pay attention to all the different subconscious cues that you're picking up, all the different situations that you've observed and seen, and really make your decision based on what you think, not what others think, because in the end of the day, you're going to have the best data. And I do think it's okay to ask others what they think, or get feedback, but I do think that you need to make your decisions for your life and really mold your life to be what you want it to be. And I also think it's definitely important for you to be able to have open communication and really ask your significant other questions about how they feel or other questions, and really get to know who they are. And so when you really understand this person and you have asked them questions, you can definitely better gauge what you should do in different situations. Love is definitely complicated and difficult, but it can also be very happy and enjoyable. And so with you, just do your best, be patient, and really find a way to understand the situation and just do what's best for you. Good luck, and I'll talk to you soon.